Wow, some flood irrigation. This is in Argentina, in the Mendoza wine region. It's a pretty interesting technique. They irrigate the vineyards in this manner because Mendoza is a very dry wine region up in the Andes Mountains, and there is very low rainfall each year. It's around 250 milliliters, and obviously the grapevines wouldn't really thrive in these conditions. So they use the snow melt from the Andes Mountains to irrigate the vines, and this method is the flood irrigation, when they have these channels where they direct the snow melt towards the vineyards and this way irrigating them. Obviously this is the oldest irrigation method, and this is actually probably one of the most sustainable one, because it only uses gravity and they just channel the water. There are no electric pumps to deal with, and the water is just coming down naturally from the mountains. They just direct to the proper directions for the vineyards, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And these vines are extremely interesting because it's a very unique situation when the vineyards are so high in the mountains, in a high elevation, they get lots of sunlight, and with this method they get the proper irrigation as well. And actually nature just created this whole situation perfectly, because the snowmelt comes down the mountains in the spring and the beginning of summer, exactly when the vines need the most water. So the system is balanced perfectly. Hello everyone, this is the 7th episode of the Winemaker Reacts series, where we are going to react to some of the videos that you have sent in. Some very cool and educational videos from the wine world. Let's jump into it. So this video is a very simple video showing how they are curing the wine barrels with high temperature steam. This is a very simple and very effective way to sterilize the barrels between aging cycles. So when the barrel is emptied and the winemaker is preparing it for the next wine to age in the same barrel. Hygiene is one of the most important things in winemaking, so you have to sterilize the barrels, and the high temperature steam sterilization helps to kill all the bacteria, leftover yeasts, or any unwanted flavors in the barrel. Obviously there are many different methods to sterilize barrels. There are chemical sterilizations, but this steam method is one of the fastest way because it doesn't take too long. You just a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes to sterilize the barrel. It doesn't use any chemicals. So they pump in very high temperature, 100 Celsius degrees steam into the barrels, which flushes out all the unwanted flavors, and the barrels are going to be ready to use. Obviously this does not replace washing the barrels, so this is after cleaning them. Okay, this next video is pretty counterintuitive. Lots of people think that this video showcases like a tragedy, but actually this is done on purpose. So to prevent spring frosts, there are lots of ways that winemakers can use to protect the vineyards, and this ice shield method is basically spraying the vines before, when the winemaker knows that a very cold morning is coming. They sprinkle water on the vines when they already have the small shoots and the buds to form this ice shield on the buds, and it actually protects the vines from going below a certain temperature, because this way when the water that is sprinkled on the buds freezes, the freezing is actually creating a very small amount of heat, and it keeps the buds at around 0 degrees Celsius, which actually helps the buds to survive. But if the temperature go below 0, -2, even -5, then that would be fatal for the buds. But with the ice shield on, it keeps this temperature and the buds are not freezing. So in general, spring frosts are very dangerous for vineyards. This is the nightmare of all winemakers, because if a huge spring frost damages your vineyard, you can lose your whole year's yield, and this technique can help to prevent it. It is quite often used mostly in Burgundy, in Champagne, in the Loire Valley, or even in Mendoza, the wine region that we talked about before in Argentina. So yeah, very cool technique, and you shouldn't worry because this is done on purpose. Okay, so this is also a pretty controversial video. People who are not familiar with this technique that is being done here are pretty confused what is happening. This is called degorgement. In sparkling winemaking, when the second fermentation is in the bottle, this is called the méthode traditionnelle, or traditional method sparkling winemaking, as they do it in Champagne. When the second fermentation in the bottle has finished, then all the dead yeast, the lees, deposits in the neck of the bottle because they keep the bottles upside down and they are always rotating it and slowly twisting it into the upside down position. All the deposit, the dead yeast and all the sediment that was collected goes into the neck of the bottle. And when they finish the aging of the bottles, this can take a year or even multiple years. It depends on the wine and on the style or the idea of the winemaker. Usually the longer bottle aging, the better. When this finishes, you have to remove the sediment from the neck of the bottle. For this, there are multiple methods. One of the most common method is to freeze that part in the neck of the bottle. Then that top part freezes and you can remove that. It creates like a cork made out of ice. And in that ice are all the deposits, all the sediments and all the yeast, and you remove that and only the clear champagne remains in the bottle. This method that they use in this video is the same technique, but they remove that sediment part from the neck of the bottle by submerging the bottles in this water, and the same sediment comes out of the bottle. The pressure presses out that top part, and that's how they do it. Lots of people are confused. Why is the water so dirty? It's not dirt, it's just the sediment from the previous bottles, so it's the same liquid goes into the water that is inside the bottle. And also very important to note that that water is not entering the bottle because the bottle is under pressure. So when they open the bottle under the water, it pushes outside, so there is not enough time for the water to go back into the bottle, so it's perfectly clean and it's an accepted method. Lots of winemakers do the degorgement in this style. So obviously after degorgement the process is not finished yet because you have to refill the bottles. So that's what you can see at the end of the video when they put these funnels on the top. They are called bidou, and this helps to regulate the outflow because, as you can see, the bottles are still under pressure, and when they are done, they refill all the bottles and they use the normal cork to bottle them again, and then you will have your finished sparkling wine. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed these videos, please consider subscribing, leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue the discussion down below. If you want to see more reaction videos like this, check out this playlist with all the previous episodes. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.
Back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I get let up.